I'm running out of ideas for what to say in the beginning of my videos, and I am currently stricken with a head cold, so you'll have to forgive me. Thank you for watching once again. We're going to call this edition, How Many Bubble Mailers Are in Brainsmasher's Trash Can This Week? A collection update, if you will. Got a bunch of shit in. Yeah. So please excuse my snot closet while we do our thing. We're listening to The Dark Seed. The Dark Send. I always fucking screw this up. The Dark Send. I picked this up a couple of months ago out in Minneapolis. So I watch a lot of What's in My Bag videos by Amoeba Records. I love them. And Dan Deacon had some really sage advice, and he said anytime he goes into a record store, he makes sure he walks out with something that he didn't formally know about or was aware of or whatnot. And I have taken that to heart. I've tried to do that, and it fucking really worked out well this time. This just looked great. It has all the trappings of something that I would love. Totally amorphous blobs on the front and the back. It's on, I think, Head Not Found. Yeah, it was on Head Not Found. There's nothing on here but a UPC, song titles, and a moon, maybe a forest. So I bought it based on nothing but that. And upon listening to it, it was recorded in Unisound Studios by Dan Svano. I'm kind of coming around to collecting, I don't know, everything that he did. But it is fucking great. Melodic, Swedish, black metal from, I don't know, if Head Not Found 22, I'm going to guess maybe 95, around there. I could just maybe look, but every time I look on video, it's not fucking there. Anyways, you'll hear it in the background. It's really, really awesome. These guys weren't really in any other bands of note, so you're just going to have to remember that The Dark Send is really awesome. I don't know what it is. The Dark Seed is some other band. I keep misremembering their name. So we got a bunch of records, a bunch of CDs. Also in that trip, I picked up the reunion album or whatever of Seance. The album is called Awakening of the Gods, and Pulverized Records put this out 2009. This is surprisingly awesome. Surprising because most Scandinavian death metal bands who get back together after 10 years of rest kind of shit the bed. But this is really fucking awesome. Seance does not have a bad album. They have 3 albums. And man, what a fucking awesome thing. I didn't really realize that they had a comeback album. So yeah, it is really, really good. So a lot of this stuff, since it's new arrivals, I'm not super familiar with them, so I won't be as verbose as I am with a lot of reviews. Yada yada yada. You get the trick. You get the deal. You don't care what I'm saying. We're just hanging out for 20 minutes. You get your fix. Whatever. We're doing it. So, speaking of shitting the bed, speaking of death metal bands from Scandinavia that reunite and live on the coattails of their former notoriety, but shit all over the blankets. Demigod with Let Chaos Prevail. This is a piece of shit. I'm not gonna lie. I am crazy about Demigod's Slumber of Soul and Eyes album, but this is really, really, really unconscionably shitty. Extreme Music put this out in 2007. Don't get this. It's really fucking bad. My buddy Mitch was chatting me up maybe several months ago at this point, reminding me of a Swedish band named Unpure, and they have a couple of releases. I believe one was on Napalm. It's got like kind of stars on it or something. I need to get that. I think that one is kind of their best release, and I didn't know they had this full length. I had never heard of this. This is Cold Land. This is a full length, and Napalm Records put it out. I kind of can't believe this just like eluded me for so many years. So this is Napalm 22, same as Had Not Found. And this is a really, really awesome record. I'm so happy that I picked this up for really cheap. It's kind of vampiric. It's got that just undeniable Swedish melodicism to it, for sure. But it's fucking grim and cold and really, really well done. It's got a couple of really, really cheesy tracks, as you would kind of tolerate with a 90s black metal record. But Unpure, Cold Land, really cold, really good. So fellow banger of the head on Instagram is a fan of my work. And he said he wanted to send me his demo. And I still don't really have a policy that I can like hold to with that. I mean, I get some offers from people and I look into it and I'm just like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want you to waste your money, but I don't want to seem like a fucking snob. So I don't know. I'm just kind of vetting it or whatever. This looked interesting. He's from Norway. The project is called, this is embossed, so you probably can't really see this too well. I'm not sure if it's going to show up, but Virju. And the EP, I believe, is called Black, and it was out on Black Forest Records. I kind of think this might be just a self-release kind of deal. If I remember, yeah, it's on a black disc. This is actually really, really cool. I'm gonna say it's very reminiscent of Darkthrone, and that is because there are some riffs lifted straight from Darkthrone on this, and it is kind of like a tribute kind of thing. It's not like they're dancing around trying to act like they aren't paying tribute to one of the greatest black metal bands there ever were. So I don't know, I really like it. It's really subdued. It's not aggressive. It's not super really anything. It's just kind of a nice, easy listen. I really appreciate how accessible it is. It's really winds up being atmospheric as a result of it. So it's pretty good. I need to give it some more spins. It's not really amazing or anything, but it is a really promising debut. And Virju, if you're watching, let me know if you have any other new releases. All right. Should we do a record or a Holy Grail? Holy Grail. I've been thinking about this all day long. And by the way, I'm squeezing this video in for you guys in the middle of a week in which I am working 76 hours. Not fun. But I just feel like making a lot of money all of a sudden. Yada, yada, yada. So, Eli, Dark Hymns from the Cold North, another YouTuber who is a good guy, referred me to a friend of his who is getting rid of, slowly but surely, chunk by chunk, his metal CD collection. And so he emails me and Eli and maybe someone else when he has another pile of stuff to get rid of. So I'm sitting at Pizza Ranch eating pizza, and the email comes in, and I quickly gathered 4 titles, well, a couple titles that we're gonna be talking about. So I've bought from him twice. We've got, it doesn't matter, I got a bunch of stuff from him. It's good. Eli has the video where he showed a bunch of stuff that he got from him, and it is a fucking haul. He got some killer shit. So I'm so thankful to be able to come into possession of some albums that I have always wanted. There you go. Looking at Disgrace with Grey Misery. Modern Primitive Records, 1991 CD bonus track. This is the red Canadian version. Got Tartaros CD in there. I was listening to Tartaros the day before I was listening to Disgrace. This thing is fucking awesome. So it gets kind of lumped in with like the essential Finnish death metal records that you need, but upon a couple of listens so far, it's a lot more like Carcass or something that maybe a little more grindcore-ish. Really raw, nasty. I really wasn't expecting it to sound so just raw, I guess. So it is a fucking killer record. There's huge riffs and vocals all over the place. It could probably use a remaster, a tastefully done remaster. I would hate to hear it ruined, you know, but yeah, it's a killer record, and I'm so stoked to have it in my collection. I've been kind of wanting to get a copy of it, remaster or not. The remaster even goes for quite a bit of money at this point too, anyways. That fucking riff, so good. All right, trying to keep this video a little around 20 minutes or so. So, currently, my beloved friends are partying up at Hammerheart Records to celebrate the release of this LP, Inexorum with Lore of the Lakes. I wish I could be with you, friends, but kind of here in spirit. So this is my buddy Carl. This is his first outing as a solo artist. He has a bassist and a vocalist on this, so it's kind of not really... I think he just wrote all the songs, composed all the drums on the computer. So it is mostly him doing the work. Gilead Media put this out. I'm pretty sure today is the release date for it. Comes with the download code and a sticker. Blue vinyl, sold out. Get on the black. I feel like this is going to be kind of a sleeper when it comes to year-end lists, because there isn't that connection, like he is in this band or was in this band or it's on this label or whatnot. About it. Carl was the live guitar player for Obsequii, who is a beloved band of mine. Nice artwork there. This, and look at this. It's got a little thank you to yours truly. Thank you, Carl. Thank you for the shout out. Your record is goddamn amazing. So pick this up. It is it's really paying tribute to 90s Swedish blackened death metal, like Sacramentum, Dark Tranquility, In Flames, stuff like that. But it's got a real modern flair to it. It's American sounding. It's killer for a first outing. Really look forward to hearing what he comes up with in the future. How about another CD? Back to the stuff that I got from dude who's selling his collection. This is Troll with Drep de Christna, Death to Christ. Something we can all get behind. This is Nagash from Demi Borger's solo project, and this came out on Damnation Records in 1996, and I have always dreamt of owning a copy of this thing. Unfortunately, it is also kind of pricey. If you've ever heard The Covenant, or just Covenant, it sounds quite a bit like this. Super keyboard heavy, symphonic, kind of early Norwegian black metal. I do prefer the EP by Troll before this. Trollstorm over Nidingjuv. Jens, am I pronouncing that right? Let me know. Yeah, Drep to Christna is great. I've always had the reissue of it. The artwork on the reissue is awful, and I love how cheesy this cover artwork is. Also picked up this was the band that I didn't know. I just kind of decided to take a stab at this. This is Bywar. The front says Invincible War, but the spine and the back and the other spine and the CD on the inside all say Invisible War. Gave this a really quick spin because I didn't want to say nothing about this, but it's just kind of some cheesy South American kind of thrash kind of stuff. When I'm in the mood for that kind of thing, Violator really does it. So this might be the kind of thing that also scratches that itch. So I ordered from Spart Records a little while ago. And by the way, if you don't know, Spart Records often has albums on sale, deep discounts. So if there's something that you're kind of eyeballing, but the price along with the shipping to get it over the United States isn't really kind of where you're looking, keep going back and looking, because it could be on sale a little while later. So a couple of months ago I ordered like the Skepticism Ordeal LP and maybe one or two other things. Then I was just kind of spending time going through all of their artists. They have such an interesting arsenal of artists, and I was just kind of giving a little sample to all the artists that sounded interesting. And I came upon this artist named Baron. Whoa! B-A-R-O-N. There's my The Embraced disc. The album is called Torpor, Torpor. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's about. There's a booklet with a lot of words in it. And if you like information, you'll like the words that give you the information. So I don't know what this is about. I'm really intrigued, but the album is fucking really, really growing on me. I was kind of apprehensive at first because it kind of has this sort of like occult rock kind of thing that's kind of in vogue right now. Like dudes from Entombed are doing this project called Lucifer that's kind of like, remember 70s occult rock and it was cool? This is kind of like that, but there's really nothing cliche about it. And honestly, there aren't really very many heavy moments about it. The real personality here is the real contemplative and just melodic and kind of relaxed and subdued style that those bands kind of danced around. So there isn't a whole lot of, there's really no metal going on here. There's really not a lot of like hard rock kind of chugga kind of stuff. It's really, really interestingly done. I think it's a brilliant release. When it does get kind of heavy, it works so well in contrast to how like relaxing and floaty and melodic the other parts are that it just really fucking hits you. But like in contrast to something like anything else in this collection, it's not heavy whatsoever, but it's just such a really, really tastefully done record. I believe they have an album before this that I still need to look into, but I'm going to be listening to Torpor for quite a while. It's a fucking brilliant album. I'm really glad I took, it's just like, it was like €3 or something, so definitely check out Svart every once in a while and see if you find anything up your alley. So this was really the other thing that I bought, 40 Watt Suns, Whiter Than the Sky. It was on sale also. No US distros seem to pick this up on CD or LP. Sadly, this is a fucking brilliant album. 40 Watt Sun you might kind of be familiar with because of Warning. I'm not really a fan of Warning as much, but man, this guy's style, Patrick Walker, his singing style, and just really the whole personality to the way he puts together a song is so unique and captivating and emotional. Have some artwork there. Double LP. Kind of pissed that the mailer that Svart sent the LP in was a real cheap piece of shit, so the thing got dinged up. I'm not super pissed about it. It's just like, if you're going to spend the money for a shipper to send something over to the United States, it should handle the journey kind of well. Just some kind of generic artwork or whatnot, but this is just a brilliant fucking emotionally heavy record. I don't really know what else to compare it to if you haven't heard 40 Watt Sun. My girlfriend kind of said that it sounds a bit like Alice in Chains' Unplugged record, and that was something just I didn't expect, and it really does make sense, I think. So if you found that Alice in Chains Unplugged record emotionally captivating, I think this would be a really fun listen. Back to CDs. Let's see. I also picked up Pestilence Spheres. So I've been shouting to you guys about the Radical Research podcast, and they talked about this album with Cynic Focus, as well as the Believer album, name escaping me. But 3 technical thrash death metal albums all released on the same day by Roadrunner Records in 1993. I think it was September 21st. But I wasn't really familiar with this record, and I'm glad I picked it up. This is gonna wind up, I think, being my favorite Pestilence record. Never wound up getting into Consuming Impulse very much, even though Martin Van Buren is a fucking brilliant singer. What's the other one? Testimony of the Ancients is just kind of there. It's, I don't know, maybe I need to revisit it or whatnot, but Pestilence is a band I always kind of like brushed off, but Spheres has changed that for me. That's for damn sure. Picked this up today off of eBay. Mordecus Dances from Left. This is a reissue on Temple of Darkness with demo bonus tracks. I downloaded this probably 12 or 15 years ago, listened to it maybe a couple times, and it didn't really click. But I've been seeing this pop up on so many essential lists and death metal early kind of stuff. Decided to get this for about 12 bucks or so on eBay. So I haven't listened to it yet. Don't really remember a damn thing about it. So the rest of the CDs are also from dude who is getting rid of his collection. We got Thanatos, Realm of Ecstasy, killer thrashy death metal from the Netherlands. I wasn't familiar with these guys whatsoever, but I hear their debut is a little bit better than that one, but it's killer, so I'm sure to check out their debut. Another Wild Rags release. This is Judecca. Scenes of an Obscure Death. This is really not good. It's kind of hard to I guess sometimes I forget that Wild Rags didn't always have the best releases. They would just take, it seemed like any death metal demo back in like 90, 91, 92 would say, hey, mind if I put that on CD? I don't care, you like it? And he would sell the shit out of it somehow. It seemed like his MO back then was just like proliferation of catalogs and like being, at that time, really the only metal label that wasn't Nuclear Blast, Relapse, Earache, around 91, 92. Also got Dirketa with Goddess of Death. Just always meant to pick up some of these guys and stuff. Jim Konya, may you rest in peace. This is some American death metal. So my buddy Chandler just trumpets about these guys, Diamond Eyed Princess, quite a bit. And I had put Pagan Rites, this album, on my wish list and just really never felt good about the prices. But so dude was getting rid of this, or Mystique put this out, so I decided to snatch it up. The drum machine is fucking awful on this, and it's gonna take me a while. It's gonna have to hit me in the perfect mood to really get into that. So also picked up this Furball, the Autumn Years. I've never heard, other than my buddy Pat, anybody talk about Furball, and when he talked about their debut, which is before this, I was pretty interested, but I tried to find copies of it, and I came up empty-handed. It's fucking awesome. I'd love to own a copy of it, but this is really no slouch either. It's, let's see, 94, this came out. So, where the first Furball record was just a fucking menagerie of styles crammed together so frantically that it's super, super fun and interesting. It just feels like a roller coaster where you're just getting batted in the head with different things all the time. It's really, really fun. But this is so much more mature and so much more focused. And usually that would kind of draw me away from a band who had done such an aggressive and crazy and just wild album. But the maturity of the songwriting on this, married with the style that they had already cemented on their first release, is super fascinating, and I really, really love this. I played it 2 or 3 times in a row 2 weeks ago, and this is going to be really a favorite that I return to pretty often. Production is fucking spot on, perfect. I just think the name, if you don't know, Furball is the name of an event where furries get together to go bowling. So they got that striking against them. And the album cover, it looks like Wyatt X Him on here getting mangled by hairdressers or something. I don't know. It just had a lot, working against it, but it is a really, really killer album. I recommend giving it a chance. It's a really weird, oddball kind of thing that Black Mark put out. So I also picked up the Satanic Slaughter, mainly just because I collect Necropolis records. I owned this way back in the day. This is self-titled, by the way, if you're curious. But I wound up getting rid of it. And then I bought a fucking later reissue of it that I didn't even remember that I had until I fucking put this next to it the other day. So anyways, this is kind of a pointless thing to even own. It is really, really odd. Super early black metal. But it's not good. It's like these guys just fucking buried the lead and went straight to bad black metal that you would expect to have come out in like 98, 99 or something like that. But I think these guys were recording this stuff as early as like 87 or something like that. So they're like a really early Swedish band. And they wound up being in like a lot better projects like Witchery. But this is not very good. So check that out for sure. Lastly, Lux Occulta is a Polish project that I really like, and this is Forever Alone Immortal. And I can never remember which of their albums I like or whatnot, but they're a good band. It's super emotive, kind of gothy death metal, I guess. They were very, very young when they started out, like 16 or so. It's kind of one of those bands where they really did their own thing in the beginning and kind of grew up over the next couple of years and just did a really brilliant album every year or so, it seemed. So that's the third album I have from them. 2 LPs and then we're done. Demolik Nespith, you know this album. You love this album. At first, I didn't love this album. I used to fucking make fun of my friends for liking this album because I thought the vocals were stupid. But, you know, it worked its way into my heart. I hope a lot of you guys picked this up from Smart Records. Finally reissued on vinyl. Finally available to the public massively. Got a lyric sheet. You know, it's Demolik. You know what it is. This you probably don't know. This is a band called The Mighty Sphincter and the New Manson Family. I don't know how I became aware of this band, but yeah, I'd be stretching to try and remember how I found out about them. Produced by Alice Cooper in the year 1986, I think. So I don't know what to compare this to. To compare them to some other bands would be kind of a disservice because they're so fucking odd. They're like a gothy sort of death rock kind of band, but their thing was just like bowel churning, nauseating, dissonant harmonies and riffs and just like moaning, sad kind of vocals. It's just super disturbing and just weird as shit. And this thing has always been kind of rare and hard to get. So on Discogs the other day, someone popped up with a copy of it for $30 or make an offer. And I was like, $30 is a really great price. So I bet he'd be willing to go down to like 25. So I made him an offer and he took it. And I come to find out the guy lives here in town and he wrote me the next day and said, hey, do you want me to drop this off at your house the next day? So turns out I know the guy. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. He used to run a record store that I used to buy my metal from back in the 90s. Comes with a Placebo Records catalog. I don't know any of the bands on here other than... Wait, Sun City Girls, I know them. JFA, I don't know what JFA is. Would you know who that is? Pat? Or maybe Eric? JFA, Meat Puppets, Sun City Girls. Not a whole lot on here other than those. This comes with an insert too. I guess as the story goes, my friend who I bought this from had a friend pass away and he gave him his record collection and said, you know, keep what you like and sell what you don't. And he said this has probably only been played once or twice, so it's in awesome condition. So I'm stoked to have it, especially considering the fact that I paid $5 for another copy of this about 2 months ago. And the thing about this one was the outer ring of the record was so warped that it was unplayable. And I thought, what if I could melt it and fix it? I never got around to doing that. I have actually successfully melted a record back into place, but yeah, this thing is just beat up. I just got it because it was $5 and, you know, the jacket is there. It's just kind of... It's something I would always get for $5 for sure. Just a half an LP in a way. But now I have the real deal, and I'll probably wind up giving this to my buddy John. Hope he likes it. So that is it. We are out. I'm going to bed. Going to work tomorrow. Hope you're all doing good. If you happen to put your hand on a doorknob, don't put your finger up your nose because you're going to get a cold like me.